Welcome to MarcusG.TV. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Jamie joins me today.
Hello.
A lot of things to talk about because we're recording for our weekly podcast, Chef on a Mission Radio, which you can go to chefonamission.com and click the link to that and catch that. So we have a bunch of topics. What do you want to start off with today?
Let's talk about your experience this weekend, your Wagathon.
Wagathon. That's a great one. That is a great one. So, do you want me to tell them what the Wagathon is, or you tell them?
You tell them, because I didn't do it.
So the Wagathon is a 30-mile ultra marathon. It's a 30-mile ultra marathon on the ridge here in the Shawangunk Mountains. It goes from Sam's Point in Ellenville, and it goes all the way to Rosendale. The neat thing about this is it's a free race. They call it a fat-ass race, which means there's no support out there. There's no markings, trail markings. Although this year they had a lot of W's out there for us with arrows. But in the past when I've run this race, there's really just been survey tape out there. And you have to take literally 3 pages of directions with you. So nobody's out there, you know, with water stations. Nobody's out there.
So it's not like a normal race.
It's not like a normal race. It's basically a survival of the mountain is what it is. So it's called Wagathon. This year was WagX, which means it's 10 years old. They had more turnout this year than ever, and the sticker this year, which is really cool that you get, is still fat, still free. There's a lot of marathons, you know, charge $100, $200.
A lot of races charge.
Most races do charge, and you know
this is the only one I think that's free.
It's the only one that I've ever run.
That you've ever run that's free.
That's free. Even the SRT, the Shawangunk Ridge Trail run, which is a 34-mile run. Similar, same mountains, just a different route, different trails. That one cost what, $85?
Yeah, by the time you were done, I think it was 100 and something.
You're right. And then the one thing about that was no aid stations as well. There was no help out there. You took directions. The Shawangunk Ridge Trail is clearly marked though, but that was nothing. I mean, you got a prize and there was a race director and things like that. The Wagathon has a race director. He has the founder, the mastermind, Felix, and Mike does a lot of the work. So they go out there and, you know, make sure the trails are okay and just hang up this survey tape.
Did they run this year? Did they run it as well?
Felix goes out very early at 7:30 a.m. or 7 a.m. and he hikes. I think he hikes and runs it. The neat thing about this race is it has, you can start whenever you want. You have to basically say, okay, I'm at this skill level, and I have to start at 8 a.m. or I have to start at 9 a.m. or 10 p.m. Not many people start that late, but you can start whenever you want. You just have to show up to Sam's Point, sign in because it's a park, it's a state park,
right?
You know, it's
so
a nature.
People know, so that they know who's in the park.
Know who's in the park, and we go from Sam's Point through Minnewaska Preserve and then through Mohonk, and then down into Rosendale on the rail trail and finish up that way.
And there's also different spots that people can meet you, right? I mean, they're not doing the whole WAG, you know, the whole 30 miles.
Right, some people just ran half of it.
Right, they can meet you at certain points.
Some people meet at a place called Traps Bridge.
Okay.
And they'll run with their friends the rest of the way, which is pretty neat. And Traps Bridge is about the halfway point. Now, the interesting thing about it was like 30.2 miles. 5,100 feet in elevation gain. We did a lot of rock scrambling. And so we started at a really high point at 2,000 feet, and we end up down like at 300 feet. But through that progression of starting here and ending here, you go and you go up, and there's a lot of ups. And
I thought it was mostly down.
Well, you're going down gradually, but there's a lot of ups, like really steep ups.
But your tallest up, your highest up was
Sam's Point where we start. We go up to 2,100 feet.
Okay. Here
in the Gunks. And then we finish off at like about 300-400 feet in elevation, maybe 300 feet.
So Sam's Point is your highest?
Sam's Point's really the high point.
Okay.
Now what they do is they take all the high points. So we go to Mohonk Tower, which is another very high point. I don't know, maybe 1,800 feet, 2,000. I'm not sure how high it is, but it's another high point. All the high points where we have the Bonnecue. Bonnecue's a rock scramble that goes way up. And on all these high points, after these rock scrambles, they leave us cards, a deck of cards.
Oh, right. So they know that you've been to each location.
Right, and all the cards are different. Like one of the decks was like a Hannah Montana card.
Right.
Right, so you have to pull out of each deck a card. And when you finish, you have to present your 4 cards at the finish line, which is a restaurant. And so it was a really great experience. Now, for me, as you know, Jamie, I've had 2 really bad experiences in my last 2 ultra marathons.
You've had, yes.
I had
Tell us about the bad experience that you've had. You finished all of them.
Yes.
But what was the experience like from last time to this time and the differences?
It was a major difference. When I ran the SRT 34 and the Hambletonian Marathon, I was electrolyte depleted. I was massively electrolyte depleted. I went out too fast, went out too hard. I thought I was going to be...
You weren't drinking enough. You weren't drinking the right things,
I wasn't drinking the right things. I thought I was going to be a rock star. I thought I was going to totally just go out and crush it, which was like how I started. And I got electrolyte depleted. I wasn't drinking electrolytes. And once that happens, it's too late once your legs start cramping. My legs started cramping, my quads, and it's just tightening up where at some points I could barely walk, and it hurt me to walk. And when that happens, when you're out there at mile 22, 23, 24, and you get electrolyte depleted and you have to go up a mountain, it doesn't work.
You know, that's funny you say that, because I had that same experience in my first half marathon, where I wasn't even going to go run it, remember?
Right.
I left that morning not even thinking that I would go do it, and I did it. And the last 2 miles, I remember, were so painful. And going downhill was harder than going uphill. And I remember just... I had no food with me. I had nothing with me. I was drinking water,
right,
and that was it.
We don't drink Gatorade as a general rule.
Right.
But on the race days, they have Gatorade. So your race had Gatorade.
But
so
I chose not to.
You chose not to. I choose not to as well.
Because I didn't even think that that was my problem, but my legs hurt so bad. Granted, I didn't really train very well for that one, but...
the cramping.
But the cramping and the pain in my legs was so bad that I bet I could have avoided that if I also would have had snacks with me, electrolytes, something to kind of help me get through.
Right. So I've tweaked my nutrition now. I did a video in the past here on how I resorted to drinking Gatorade at the 34-mile race, and once I got that Gatorade down, I was recovering. But
and it was quick. Your recovery.
My recovery is pretty quick. Within 3 minutes, I was back to 10-minute miles, coming off of 20-minute miles, and I even had one 40-minute mile in there going up the mountain. I couldn't walk. It was misery. I almost did a do not finish. A DNF. I called you, and if you knew where I was going to say, come pick me up. But you were like, I don't know how to get to you, and this and that, and I would have totally done that.
So go back to the Wagathon, and what did you do differently in this race compared to what you did in the last 2 races?
So all week along to the Wagathon, I ate a very high, super high carbohydrate diet. Usually I do 80% carbs. I was up to 90% carbs most days. That's carb loaded.
But vegan carbs.
Vegan carbs. Vegan
carbs.
Yeah, vegan carbs, of course. Most carbs are vegan because
I guess you're right.
Beans and rice and things like that, and fruit. Really high fruit diet. I did baking soda. Every day religiously I did baking soda at nighttime, which kind of helps get lactic acid out of your system. Baking soda is really, really good for a lot of things, alkalizing. The night before I did baking soda, I did potassium bicarbonate and the sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda.
So what's potassium bicarbonate?
It's another key element it's another salt that your body.
A salt, okay.
These are all elements that your body requires. When you start sweating, your body sweats out all these essential minerals, these salts, and at a super high level, you sweat out far more than you can actually even consume or actually like reload your body with. And you need these salts in your body. For function, for proper muscle function, for all kinds of functions. It was interesting because in the days of slave trading, before they shipped the slaves on the boats, somebody would actually go around and lick the slaves. And they did that to test their salt levels.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They'd go around and lick them and to see how they were sweating. It sounds nasty, and it is, but if they didn't taste salty, they knew the slave couldn't survive the trip over the ocean because they weren't supplied with the proper electrolytes, nutrients. If they were sweating salty, they had that coming out of their body, so that's how that works. It was just an interesting fact I thought I'd throw in there. So that morning of the race, I had bought electrolyte caps, tablets to put in my water.
Right.
And a pretty clean product. There's another product I'm going to try out there from Rich Roll. I can't wait to try Rich Roll's product because he's super clean with everything he does. And that morning before I even left the house, as soon as I got up, I started pounding electrolytes. I got there, I put electrolytes in my backpack. I just sipped, 2 to 4 ounces of electrolytes throughout every hour religiously. I run with friend Amy, and Amy's very diligent, Jamie, on stopping every hour for nutrition. We were out there for 7 hours and 50 minutes running, hiking, climbing, moving for 7 hours, 50 minutes. Amy's very diligent. Every hour she likes to stop and fuel up. And she made me do that. And she made me do that at the SRT too, but not electrolyte up. So between every hour nutrition, the constant electrolytes, I felt phenomenal. Now the only downside, Jamie, I wasn't feeling well.
Right.
You and I are both coming off of a cold.
We are, yes.
And I wasn't feeling well. And maybe I shouldn't have ran the race.
Probably not.
I probably shouldn't have.
But that's something that you always do. You do things that you're not always supposed to do.
People say sweat it out of you, sweat it out of you, which I think I did. I think I sweated out of me, because at 3 miles into the race, all of a sudden one of the guys running behind me goes, "Marcus, your backpack, your water pack is leaking." And I said, "No, because my water pack has leaked before. It's nothing new.
You had that problem.
I've had issues." So I reach around, grab the bottom of my pack, and I say, "You know what? It's dry." He goes, "Marcus, you're covered with water in the back. And I said, "You know what?" I said, "I'm sweating." I said, "I don't feel well." I said, "I really don't feel well today." I kind of almost like teetering a fever. I mean, I was just sweating. And he did very good, because he kept checking on me.
Right.
Every hour or so, he'd run next to me and he goes, "Are you okay? How you feeling?" I said, "I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm feeling great." But
that's the nice part about running with other runners. Everybody kind of takes care of each other.
They do.
Running, check on each other.
You meet so many cool people running. I mean, I've made so many friends. We've made so many friends from the running community, and we're all, it's all like we all understand each other.
Well, because you're all crazy. So you get that crazy mentality. You're all nuts.
And so there were certain points of this race where I was just like, I would say, I look over to Amy, I look over to somebody, it's like, I'm just like sweating right now. They're like, "Yeah." And 3 miles into it, everybody has coats on still, and I'm just ripping my coat off. I'm hot, I'm sweating, I'm dripping. That was the only uncomfortable part of the race. Once I got over those sweat periods,
right,
my energy levels were phenomenal. I finished the race hard. We finished in a group of 5 people.
You stayed together the whole time?
We stayed together.
5 of you, right, yes.
In a race like this, when you're out in the wilderness, it's easy to twist your ankle. It's easy to fall. There always are injuries in a race like this. A couple years ago, a race, somebody had to get stitches. They fell in the rocks. I rolled my ankle 3 times. I fell once. Most people usually fall once when you're out there for that long going on the trails, because there's single path trails. There's rocks everywhere here where we're at in the Shawangos.
You have to be very careful.
Leaves are down right now. Tree branches are covered with leaves. If it's a little wet out, you're going to slip on the leaves.
Right.
So it's not the most ideal situation. So
but 2 crazy people choose to do it.
We choose to do it
consistently.
Yes, we do, and we love it, and we get we get that runner's high off of it, and then we all hang out afterwards and have a good time. People usually drink beer and eat. I didn't partake in any of that. I came back to the restaurant and got my green smoothie. Actually went to a friend's house for pasta night.
Yes.
My friend makes Eric makes incredible vegan, gluten-free stuffed shells.
They're so good.
Oh my gosh. And I must have had like 8 of them, 9 of them. They were so good. So shout out to Eric for that. That's really great. He usually makes those every week. But
he's awesome.
So good. And of course, Eric opens a nice bottle of wine. I didn't partake in the wine. I knew that, alcohol would not be the best bet after a long run like that, after being sick.
Not feeling well,
just not, not the best. I did take a couple of sips. It was a really nice bottle. I smelled it. I enjoyed it. But there was just like 2-3 sips. And I pushed it away and said, this is all that I need. I don't prescribe to drinking alcohol after a race like most people do. A lot of people, can't wait to carb up on a beer. I really typically don't do that and never have done that. I like to get more high quality carbs in me, like more bananas, more cantaloupe, more fruits, things like that. It's typically what I do. So that's what I ate. That's what I drank. I ate these Pro bars. Okay. The Pro bars are really cool. They're organic. All different nuts, seeds, superfoods, goji berries, strawberries.
And they taste good too.
They taste phenomenal. Justin likes them. So Pro bars are typically what I ate those. For the first time I bought those stinger bars, those honey waffle stinger bars.
Right.
Our friend Amy swears by those. So I bought 2 of them, I ate those. And I had a lot of energy. Besides being sick was the only thing that would wind me down sometimes, but I had tons of energy, no muscle cramping whatsoever.
Right,
you remember picking me up from the SRT 34 miler? When you picked me up from that, to sit in a car, the cramps.
Yeah.
Remember, I couldn't even sit in a car because I had to stretch my legs out and my legs were still cramping. Everything was cramping. my foot was cramping, my shins were cramping, my quads were cramping. I mean, everything was just cramping on me. This was not the case, no cramps. So proper nutrition, proper electrolytes. We did the proper pace. We all stayed together. It was really, really a great combination. I think for me, it was a way for me to actually bounce back off of 2 bad experiences.
I think it was good for you, yes.
This summer I did a 52 miler, which I had proper electrolytes, and I was perfectly fine. You know, perfectly fine. I didn't cramp or anything. I drank electrolytes all the way on through, and so it was great. It's just when I see Gatorade out there, I don't take the Gatorade. So we're going to take a break and come back and talk about sugary drinks and the sugar actually in drinks and how much sugar Gatorade and other sports drinks and other things actually have. You might be shocked. We all know that, you know, a 6-pack of soda contains a ton of sugar, but how much sugar exactly? So when we come back, we're going to talk about that. If you like this video, please hit like, subscribe to our channel, definitely pass it on. Leave your comments, leave some of your experiences about ultra running, trail running, marathons, short distance running, whatever it is. Leave some comments, and thanks for watching.